Welcome back to another YouTube video. In today's video we're gonna figure out how many pieces of clothing we can make with one set of bedsheets. I feel like when you sew with stripy, they fit perfectly. Okay, Alicia blouse is coming up next. It looks a bit funny right now the way I was pinning. Let's go and make the molly shirt. Okay, I want to make it into a long sleeve blouse this time. I need to hem them at the front just so you all the stripes, like the sleeve stripes go this way, then here it goes this way, then those go this way. Love, love, love. Welcome back to another YouTube video. My name is Ann-Sophie and I'm the person behind Sewing with Solana, and today we have a bit of a different kind of video. So instead of it just being a simple sewing tutorial, this is more gonna be like sewing diaries, because I always get the question from you guys where to find cheap fabrics, and it's actually a really hard question because fabrics are super expensive. But then a few weeks ago I had to buy new bed sheets, and first I was looking online, but everything that I liked was either crazy expensive or I don't know, I just couldn't find anything that had a good price and I liked it. But then I had to go to IKEA to buy some things, and then I was looking for bed sheets there, and then I found some bed sheets that I really liked, and they were also super affordable in my opinion. Like they were $39, and then I bought them, then I was sleeping them, and I was looking at my bed sheets in the morning, and I was like, that fabric would make such nice pants, because I made some pants a few weeks ago with stripy fabric, and I actually ran out of fabric while I was cutting it out. Like the way I wanted to cut it didn't go as planned, so I had to cut the front, like it was stripy fabric, so the front, the stripes were going this way, and then for the front I had to cut the stripes going this way. And I just did it because I wanted to test a pattern, because I made a new pattern for pants. But then I really loved how it looked with the stripes of the front and the back going different directions. And I posted a photo on Instagram and so many people loved it, and I also loved it. So I wanted to make a new pants anyway, a new pair of pants. And then, yeah, I was laying in bed looking at my sheets and I was like, I should get some more of those bed sheets. So I went and got some more bed sheets, and this time I got them in like this light blue, grayish, stripy color. And in today's video, we're gonna figure out how many pieces of clothing we can make with one set of bed sheets. Because if you think about it, like the pillowcases, I actually don't know the measurements. I think there are 80 centimeters, 85 centimeters times 50 centimeters. And then we have two of them. I don't know where the other one is, here. And you also have to keep in mind that they are like, each pillowcase has double the amount of fabric. And then also the sheet for the blanket is 2 meters times 2 meters, but because also the fabric is double, because you put the blanket in between, it's 4 meters times 2 meters. So that is so much fabric for $39, which is 24 euros. So yeah, I thought this would be a fun video to film for you guys, and first I just wanted to do it for myself, to make pieces of clothing for myself, but then I was like, no, I should film this, so you can maybe also follow this sewing diaries of mine and you can recreate the same pieces of me. And I think it's just like a super fun way to figure out how many pieces of clothing we can get with one set of bed sheets. So I think I'm gonna start with the long pants, and then I'm just gonna see where this tutorial takes us. I have not made any plans, but also I saw like, look, there's like some super cute buttons on it. So maybe I could also make like a button-up shirt. I have no idea. Like I didn't make any plans before starting filming this. All I did was wash my fabric and that's it. So we're just gonna start with the pants, and then we'll see where today's video takes us. So let's go. Okay, so hair's up. Now it's time to start working. And today, like the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the pants, right? And this pattern is different to the ruby shorts, because the ruby shorts, like the legs are super wide. And for the pants that I want to do now, I made a new sewing pattern because I want to make some more slim fitting. Like they're still loose fitting, like they're still with an elastic waistband, but they're just like a bit more slim. Let me know if you want to have a sewing pattern for this. I don't have it digitalized yet. So I don't know, how do you store your sewing patterns? Like I'm really struggling at the moment. Like this is always how I store mine. Like I just hang them up. But I feel like it's always so chaotic when I need to find them again. So if you have any tips of how you store your sewing patterns, please share them with me. But yeah, the first thing I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna cut out the front and the back and then the waistband. And with those pants, I'm gonna make the front stripes going this way and the back stripes going this way. And then the waistband, I'm gonna make the stripes go up again all the way around, just because I'm gonna share a photo with you here of when I made them the first time. I was struggling a bit getting the waistband look nice with stripy fabric. So I think it looks best if I make the waistband, the stripes all go one direction all the way around. So I'm really excited. So let's start cutting it out. I'm gonna put the pillowcases to the side for now, and I think I will use them later for when I make a blouse. Yeah, so those are gonna go to the side, and I'm just gonna start with the bed sheet. And like the most important thing, I think it's always like super important that you cut your fabric in a smart way, like to really not waste fabric. And especially today, because I really want to get the most amount of pieces of clothing out of those bed sheets as we can. So I want to be mindful where I place my sewing pattern. So this is the back. Okay, first pattern piece is cut out, and this is going to be the back of the pants. And now I need to turn the fabric because I want to cut the front in a different direction. There's good and bad things, I feel like, when you sew with stripy fabric. The good thing is, like, you can use the lines to use as a guide, like to orientate yourself, like when you cut out the fabric, and especially when you sew. Like if you're new to sewing, it's so good when working with stripy fabrics because it's, yeah, you can just use the stripes as a guide. But then also the tricky side is, you really want, when you cut the pieces together, it looks so much nicer if all the stripes line up again. So you need to pay attention when cutting out the fabric. Here, for example, I really want to make sure that the end of the pants are cut super straight. And now the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pin and sew this part. I actually don't know, is it called crotch area? I feel like it's called crotch area, but in my opinion that's not a very nice name, but maybe it's just because English is not my first language. But yeah, so here I'm gonna turn this around. Here is what I mean, where you have to pay attention that the lines are lining up. So you really want to make sure, let me zoom in a bit more. You really want to make sure that the gray lines line up with the gray line of the other layer, and then pin it in place, just because at the end it's going to look so much nicer if the lines are lining up. And I feel like for the back part, it's even, no, not even more important, it's equally important, I would say, that the lines line up. I actually forgot something. I didn't go and buy, oh, okay, we're lucky, because I didn't think about buying matching sewing thread. But I have like this little bag here filled with sewing thread, and luckily I think this looks like a pretty good match. It's not perfect, but I have a few other blue tones. There we go. I have 4 different colors of blue thread, and I'm sure there's going to be one that matches. So now after sewing this, I'm quickly gonna check if the lines are lining up, otherwise I'm gonna open it again and sew it again. Woo. That is looking pretty perfect. Wow, didn't expect it, but that's amazing. So this is what I wanted it to look like, that here the lines are really perfectly lining up. And now we have to try and do the same on the back part, which I already know is gonna be a bit harder. But let's see. So here for the back, I feel like down, no, it's not perfect. Like it's not terrible, but it's also not perfect. So I think I'm gonna open it up again and try again to get it a bit more straight. So let's try this again. This is looking better. What do you think? It's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Like I know it, like here for example, it could be even better, but I mean, come on. Nah, this is pretty good. Look at this, like here it's lining up perfectly. I have to cut this off. No, I'm really happy with how this turned out now. Like this is looking really, really nicely. Now I have just pressed the seams open, what we have just sewn, and overlocked it. And now we're gonna sew the front and the back together. So now I'm just gonna lay the back in front of me with the good side facing me. And then I take the front, and we wanna have the good sides facing each other. And now I'm gonna sew down on the outside of the pants on both sides, and then I'm also gonna sew the inside of the legs together, and I'm just going to start with the insides first. And it's important that you want to line up the two seams here, and then I'm pinning this part together, and then I'm just going to pin all the way down, and also oops, yeah. So I'm going to start here, and the good thing is because now the line, those are going this way, those are going down, so we don't have to worry anymore about lining up any stripes. I'm also going to release a sewing pattern for those pants in the next couple of weeks, and then I'm going to link in the description box down below all the other sewing patterns that I'm using in this tutorial, and I'm also going to link you the in-depth tutorials for each of the sewing patterns down below in case some of the clips in this video are too fast for you to follow. I'm going to sew this part first, and then I'm going to press the seam open, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin the outside of the pants together. I often use old bed sheets that I buy at thrift stores or at op shops, and then I just wash them and then I use them because I feel like you can get fabric for super cheap, and it's so good if you're making a new sewing pattern or if you're just testing a sewing pattern and then see if you need to make some changes to it before you start working with your expensive fabric. So now the next step is to sew the sides of the pants together. Then we're going to press the seam open, then we're going to overlock it, and then the next step is to attach the waistband and hem the pants, and then we're already finished. And then we can start with the second piece. So this is what the front is going to be like, and then the back is going to look like this. And the next step now is to attach the waistband. And I think it looks so cool how we have like the contrast on the side here from the front and the back. I think it's super fun. So yeah, let's do the waistband, and then there's only the last step left to do, and that is to hem the pants. Also very unprofessional. I always use normal pens to draw the marks on my fabric, but I just don't enjoy working with chalk. I feel like it's too unprecise. But I have one of those pens that I made for fabric, but I just Can't find it. But yeah, I don't know. I think you shouldn't do it, but for me it works perfectly. So that's what I always say, like just do what works best for you. And there's no right and wrong, in my opinion. Okay, so now I cut out one for the back that has the length of the back of the pants and then one for the front. So I'm just gonna sew them together now on both ends. And then I think there's a few different ways always how you can make an elastic waistband. When we did it for the Ruby shorts, we just folded the end of the shorts inwards. But I think here, because I want the stripes of the front and the back of the waistband to go the same way, that's why I cut them out separately now. So I need to sew them onto the pants and then I need to attach the elastic. I made my elastic 64 centimeters long and now I'm just gonna sew the two ends together with a zigzag stitch. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my elastic in between the fabric here and then I'm just gonna sew it closed, so then we have the elastic waistband, and then I'm gonna attach it to the pants. So I actually don't think I've ever done this way, so I don't even know if this is gonna work, but I think it should work. So I'm just gonna do this now. Oops. I hate when this happens to me when I forget to change the settings back to a straight stitch. So now I've pinned the waistband on the sides together, like on this side and also on the other side, and I've pinned it on the good side of the pants. Right now there's still so much sewing thread, but yeah, I'm just gonna sew this now first with a normal sewing machine, and then while sewing you need to make sure that you stretch the elastic a bit, and then I'm just gonna go and overlock it with my overlock machine, and then maybe, I don't know, then we'll see what it looks like and see what else we need to do. Okay, so I've attached the waistband now to the pants, so this is what it looks like, and first I'm gonna overlock it. Ooh, this is looking nice. Yeah, so I need to overlock it now, and then I need to see if the waistband stays up like this, or maybe I'm gonna do a stitch right inside here, but I have to see. I'm gonna overlock it now, and then we'll see. I think then I'm just gonna have a little break because I'm gonna upload the sewing tutorial for the swimsuit. So I just need to do a few more things. I need to charge my camera, but yeah, I'll see you in a second. Okay, they fit perfectly. They really fit super nicely. The only thing that's left to do now is I need to hem them to make them a bit shorter. Okay, so I took a bit of a longer break than I thought. My camera is always so wonky. But anyway, like I uploaded the swimsuit pattern to the website, then I had to do the thumbnail for YouTube, and then I got some quick lunch, got a coffee, and now I just, while eating lunch, I was watching some YouTube tutorials, not YouTube tutorials, but I always watch, I only have one person that I watch every video of, and that's Sarah's Day. But I don't know, like, anyway, I was just watching her video, and while I was watching some YouTube and was eating lunch, I was pinning my pants. So now I'm just gonna sew them, and then I'm gonna show you how they look completely finished. Okay, so the first piece is finished. They fit perfectly. I'm gonna show them to you like this. Here's the back. I am in love. Okay, so now we have to decide what we want to do next. We still have so much fabric left, so we have a few options. Either we make the Alicia blouse, or we make the Lucy blouse, or the Piper top. I think those are the top three that one of them I want to do next. But then there's also another sewing pattern. I'm going to show you something. So there's like this shirt that I had for my clothing brand, and it was a button-up shirt. And the other day I wanted to make it, but I didn't have any buttons. So I started making it, and then I thought, oh, maybe I can just like add the buttons later on. But I know myself, and I know I would have never ended up buying buttons, and I don't know, I just wanted to finish it in that moment. So instead of putting in buttons, I added 2 ties in the front. But now with this fabric that we have, there's like buttons at the end of the bed sheet. So I could actually, that would actually save so much time, so much work, because I wouldn't have to make any buttonholes and I wouldn't have to sew on any buttons. So maybe it would be super cool to make the Molly shirt. But then at the same time, I think it's more fun if I do another piece where you can then also like get the sewing pattern straight away and follow along. So maybe, I'm so torn. I think I'm gonna do the Lucy blouse, but maybe I'm gonna make it with long sleeves, because now it's getting cold in Australia and I don't have a lot of long sleeve pieces yet. Or the Alicia blouse. I think the Alicia blouse would also look so nice. I'm so torn. Let's maybe first do the Alicia blouse, and maybe instead of having that's actually a good idea, okay. So I'm gonna do the Alicia blouse. When I released the sewing pattern for the Alicia blouse, I made it in a way that the front parts are double lined. But because this fabric here, the stripy fabric, is not see-through, so to also save fabric, that I have enough fabric to make a few more pieces, I can only use it with 1 layer of fabric on each side, and I can show you how to do that. Like, it's super simple, but maybe I think that would be cool. Let's do that. Okay, Alicia blouse is coming up next. So here we have the sewing pattern for the Alicia blouse, and I'm gonna cut out the back piece one time unfold, and I have to find the back lining, which is just like a part where we only cut out this part again for the lining for the back. Must be somewhere in my chaos room. And then this is the front part, and usually you would cut it out 4 times, but I'm only gonna cut it out twice now. And then, depending what size you're gonna make, you need to measure the front part here, and then you cut out a bias band. Like your fabric, you're gonna cut it on bias, and you're gonna cut that out 2 times, 1 time for the right side, 1 side for the left side. And then the sleeves we're gonna cut out twice as well. And then I made the Alicia blouse only with 1 strap, but I think to change it up a bit again, I'm going to do 2 ties in the front. Yeah, let's go. have a little change of plan because I said a few minutes ago that we should cut a stripe of fabric on bias. But because when you do that, you lose so much fabric. Like you just cut one stripe through the middle of the fabric and it would be pretty silly because our goal is to make as much clothing out of those bed sheets as we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace this line here and then I'm going to make this part, so it's a bit hard to explain, but I'm going to make this part as a separate pattern piece and then I'm going to cut it out twice. I'm going to film it while I do it so you understand, because then I can use that instead of the bias binding. And now I'm making this piece here 6 centimeters wide. I'm going to cut this out twice now, because this is going to be the lining for the front. So now I'm going to start sewing the Alicia blouse, but I'm not going to do a full in-depth tutorial now in this video. If you need one or if you want one, you can go and watch that tutorial. Today I'm just going to show you the differences that I make, like the different things that I do. For example, because now I want 2 bows, so I need 4 straps, and I'm only making them 30 centimeters long, just because I think it's a bit nicer when you have 2 bows on top of each other. It's a bit nicer when they're not so long. And I'm also going to show you how I do the front differently. Instead of having it fully double lined, the other way how I'm going to do it. So here we have the front lining, and this is the top. This means here's the bottom, so here's the edge of the blouse. So here, let's look at this example. Let's take one of the front pieces. And so this is what it basically is, right? And now we're just going to overlock the inside of the lining of both of the pieces. now we're gonna lay the front pieces in front of us. One like this and one like this. And then we're gonna take our lining pieces. And I just put a needle up here so I remember where the front was. So I'm gonna put this one here. And then the other one needs to go here. And first we're just gonna focus on one of them. So I'm just gonna pin it towards like the two pieces at the front here together. And then here I made my two notches to indicate where I want my straps to go. So I'm gonna pin my straps in between here. And now I'm doing the same over here. Okay, so now I'm gonna sew along here, and then I'm gonna do the same on this side, and then we're gonna sew the seam allowance onto the lining. So here's what it looks like so far. The front and the back are sewn together now. Here are my two cute little bows. And the next step now is to attach the sleeves. the Alicia blouse. I feel like it looks so cute. I really like it with the two bows. But right now, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think it's too much stripes going on? I feel like a bit I look like I escaped prison. Like, I love them separately, but I'm wondering, I don't know, it looks cool, it looks really cool. I have to see how I'm gonna style it, but the blouse, like the fabric is really nice for the blouse, and I think it's cute with the two bows here. Love the pants. I just need to figure out for myself if I like them styled together. Okay, so now we have two pieces done with our bed sheets, and now it's time for another piece. I was thinking either we're gonna do the Lucy blouse or we should do actually the Molly shirt. Like, I haven't done the Molly shirt in so long and I want to have another one. And I think the Molly shirt in this fabric and this color would also look so cool with jeans, because right now I only have it in like this pink orange and then this blue floral, and I think I want something a bit more timeless. So I think the Molly shirt would look cool in this fabric. So let's go and make the Molly shirt. So here we have the Molly pattern. This one is the front piece that you need to cut out one time and fold. And then here we have the back piece, and it needs to be cut out one time and fold, and that's it. So you only need to cut out two pieces of fabric. And now I just need to decide if I want the stripes to go this way or this way. For the Alicia blouse, we did them this way. I don't know. They always say stripes going this way make you look bigger, right? Do they say that? I think that's what they say. But I think because now I did the Alicia blouse this way, maybe we should have the stripes go this way. I don't know. I'm tired. Let's have a look. So this is the stripes going down. I mean, the stripes are also so thin on this fabric that I feel like it doesn't really matter that much. I always need to look in the mirror for a bit. So this would be stripes going this way, and this would be stripes going this way. I can't decide, but I guess if I can't decide, that means that it doesn't really matter to me. Like, if I would have a strong opinion about it, I would know by now, but clearly I don't. So let's make them this way, just so it's different to the Alicia blouse. I'm indecisive. Usually I'm never indecisive. Let's do them this way. Yeah, let's do them this way. The Molly shirt is actually so easy to sew. So what you have to do, you have to lay the front and the back on top of each other with the good sides facing each other. With this fabric that I'm using, there's no good and bad side, so you just put them on top of each other. And then first you have to pin and sew the shoulder together, and then you have to do exactly the same to the underarm of the sleeve, like the under part of the sleeve and the side of your shirt. And first I just sew it with my normal sewing machine, then I press the seams open, and then I go ahead and overlock it. And then you need to hem your neckline. And the last step is to create a tunnel to pull an elastic through at the end of both of your sleeves and also at the end of your shirt, and then you're already finished. So I feel like the Molly shirt is a super easy project for everyone who's new to sewing. And honestly, I haven't been wearing my Molly shirt much, like at least not the two that I have made before this one, but now this one that I'm making here in this video, I've been wearing a lot in the last couple of weeks. And also when I posted it on Instagram, so many of you asked me where the shirt is from and if I made it. So yeah, that made me so happy that so many of you love the Molly shirt. And now that I have it in this color, I also know I'm gonna wear it so much more often. And for my 2 other Molly shirts, I made a matching mini skirt with it. And there's a tutorial on my YouTube channel for a maxi skirt. And you can just follow the tutorial of the maxi skirt and just make it shorter. So instead of having 3 sections of fabric, only do 2 sections of fabric and leave the last section away. And just make it a bit shorter. And then you have the perfect matching mini skirt for it. So I finished the Molly shirt now. I didn't film a lot of it because my camera battery was empty. It's actually super annoying with the camera that I have. Like, I'm super happy with the camera, but the battery, oh, I don't know. I really need to get a spare one. So instead of always having to charge the one that I'm using, I need just to get a second one. But I finished the Molly shirt. Different to the first tutorial that I uploaded. This time I used a bit thinner elastic, simply because I didn't have the 1 centimeter wide elastic, so now mine is a bit thinner, which doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna try it on and I'm gonna show you. Okay, let me move everything around. So here we have the Molly shirt now. I love it. Like, I'm so happy now that I have a Molly shirt that's a bit more like casual, and I think it's gonna look so cool with a pair of blue jeans, black jeans, and even white. I don't own a pair of white pants, but if I would, I think it would look really cool. But even, what do you think with the pants and the shirt matching? I think I don't know. I think I actually like it. I think it actually looks cool. I think those two look better than the Alicia blouse and the pants. Like, I think the Alicia blouse was a bit too much for me together, but here I think because you can see some skin, it's breaking it up nicely. But yeah, now I have to think if I want to continue, like if I want to start sewing another project, or if I should continue tomorrow. And also I have to decide what else I should make. We could make the Lucy blouse, which I think I really want to make the Lucy blouse. I think the Lucy blouse would look so cool in this fabric. The Piper top would be cute. Maybe a mini skirt. I don't know. Well, I think we should just start with the Lucy blouse, because for the Lucy blouse we also need quite a lot of fabric, and then we have to see how much fabric we have left to make anything else. But so cool, I'm so excited. It's so much fun figuring out how many pieces of clothing we can make. And I think if I wouldn't have had like some other work to do in the middle of the day, I think I could have finished filming this all in one day. But I mean, 3 pieces of clothing plus filming everything takes so much time, like always moving the camera around and everything. But anyway, I'm talking too much. I'm gonna start cutting out the Lucy blouse. I don't think I'll start sewing it today. But yeah, let's go. Let's start the Lucy blouse. Good morning, it's a new day. I didn't start making the Lucy blouse yesterday because I started to move into my new shop yesterday. So it's a new day and we're gonna start it. I am wearing it today. The only difference, I want to make it into a long sleeve blouse this time. And usually I would create a separate pattern piece for it, just so next time if I want to do it, I already have the pattern piece for it. But yesterday I moved already the paper that I use for my pattern making to the new studio. So I'm just going to place the sleeve pattern directly on my fabric, and then I'm just going to add 20 centimeters of length to it. And I think I'm going to cut out the blouse, like the front piece and the sleeves with the stripes going down. And then for this part down here, I think I'm going to make the stripes go this way. And yeah, so I'm going to do that, and I think this blouse is going to take up a lot of fabric. But I really want to do it, so we'll see what we can do after. But let's start, and then hopefully, well, I have some more ideas. Like, I have some more ideas for accessories. I was thinking I want to make a scrunchie, I want to make a sleeping mask. I really need to make a bag for my laptop, but I don't have a big enough zipper. But maybe I could actually make a laptop bag with the buttonholes and just have it like with a flap. I don't know. We'll see. We're just gonna make the blouse now and then we see what we can do next. So here we have the back piece, and I always put a pin here where I want to make the dart, and then I made 2 little cuts here. Then here we have the back lining. Now I'm going to cut out the 2 front pieces here, and I have to keep in mind that this time I want to cut them with the lines going in a different direction. I think maybe I should have started cutting out the sleeves first. You know what, I'm going to do the sleeves first because I'm a bit worried that we're going to run out of fabric for the sleeves. We still have the big pillowcases, like I still have a lot of fabric actually, but I just want to make sure that we do get the sleeves long. So let's do them first. Which direction do I want the sleeves to go? So if the main part of the blouse goes this way, I think I should also make the sleeves go this way. Yeah. Okay. I think we have a little problem. I think I don't have enough fabric because the sleeves, like they're super big because we're going to gather the fabric together, so they're going to be super puffy. And I don't think I have enough fabric to cut it with the lines going down. So I think I'm going to, like here with this blouse, we have the lines going down and then also the sleeves going down. So I think maybe I'm just gonna change it up and make the sleeves go this way. I don't know what it's gonna look like. I think it's gonna look fun. Fine. I should have cut out the sleeves first, but it doesn't matter. Like I think it really. No, it doesn't matter because when we look at the pants, I really like how like the front and the back are going different ways. So I think it's also gonna look cool for the sleeves. Okay, looks good. We definitely have enough fabric if we do it this way. And then I'm just gonna measure now 20 meters down, 20 centimeters down from the end of the sleeve. You know what, I'm just gonna make it 22 just to be on the safe side. Then I'm gonna make some marks on my fabric. Okay. Next step is to cut out the parts of the fabric that we need to gather together. And now the last 6 pieces we need to cut out are the straps, 2 for 6, yeah, 6 pieces we need to cut out. Now, which way should we do them? With this blouse, I really like how it looks here. So here the stripes are going this way, but then I cut the straps the other way. I think this time I'm going to do it the other way, just to change it up a bit. No, I'm going to do it the same way I did over there. I think that's fun. So I'm going to try and cut them out with the little scrap pieces here. But they are all going. Maybe with this one I can do it. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now we have all pieces cut out and now we can start sewing. I'm again, like with all the other pieces too, I'm not going to go too much into depth for each tutorial. I'm just going to show you bits and pieces. If you need an in-depth tutorial, then I'm going to link all the tutorials down below. Okay, so I have prepared now all the things that you can prepare, like I've sewn the darts for the front pieces, for the back. I made the straps, then I hemmed the front, like here the 2 parts that we gather together. You need to hem them at the front just so you have a nice finish. So I hemmed those 2, and then also I first overlocked the back lining and then I folded it towards one side. So this is what the good side now looks like. And now I'm just going to put all the pieces together. So I'm going to put the back lining and the back together. Then I'm going to sew the front pieces together. And then I'm going to join the front and the back pieces together. So I have sewn the front and the back together now, and I have also attached the gathered fabric down below here and also at the back. And I feel like it looks so cute already. I feel like this is the perfect fabric for this top. This is gonna look so cute once it's finished. So the next step is now to attach the sleeves. And here with the white top, I made the straps, I think 1.5 centimeters wide. And for this one, I made them a bit thinner. So here they're only 1 centimeter, like with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. But yeah, the next step is now to add the sleeves. And then I have to decide if I want to make an elastic like here. So here's the end of the sleeve, and then sew an elastic in here. Or if I want to do it like this. Maybe, I think because in the tutorial for the blouse I showed you how to do it this way, so maybe today I'm gonna do the sleeves just with an elastic at the very end. But yeah, I love how it's coming together. I have attached the sleeves now on both sides, and I already overlocked it as well. And the next step that I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna overlock the end of the sleeves, just from here to here, just overlock it. And then I'm gonna close the sleeve and I'm gonna close the side, like I'm gonna sew it in one go. And then I'm gonna fold the end of the sleeve inwards to the inside of the sleeve, and then it depends how wide your elastic is. So if my elastic is, I think I'm gonna take like the thin elastic, I'm just gonna fold it in, I think the elastic is maybe 0.7 centimeters or half a centimeter, I have to check. But anyway, I would recommend making, like folding it up 1 centimeter more than what your elastic is wide. And now it depends a bit how tight you want the cuff of your sleeve to sit. I think I'm just gonna make it that the elastic doesn't need to get stretched. So I think I'm gonna cut it like this. You always have to make sure that you also include the seam allowance when cutting your elastic off. And then I'm gonna cut it off twice. And then, as always, I take 2 safety pins and pin one on each end. And the reason why I pin it on both ends is because sometimes it can happen that when you pull it through, that it accidentally, like the other end will follow. And then you have to start from the beginning again, which is super annoying. So if you have one at both ends, then you can just like push the end that shouldn't have gone in out again. And then always make sure that your elastic didn't get twisted along the way. And you overlap the elastics. I always like to stick a needle through the ends, and then I go back to my sewing machine and I'm just going to sew over it a few times, and then I'm closing the gap. The next thing I'm gonna do now before I'm completely finished with this blouse is I'm just gonna hem it. If you want to, you could pin it. I'm just gonna sew it and fold it at the same time. Okay, so I'm finished with the blouse now. I'm gonna try it on and then I'm gonna show you. Oh my god! That turned out so cute. I love the fabric, I love the color. I love the long sleeves. I feel like they have the perfect length. So if you also want to make them into long sleeves, I have added 22 centimeters to the pattern. And cute. I also like it now how all the stripes, like the sleeve stripes go this way, then here it goes this way, then those go this way, and like everything goes into a different direction, which I think makes it super nice. Okay, I think this might be my favorite piece that we have made so far from the bed sheets. So I just went to get some coffee and I posted on Instagram about the Lucy blouse that I just finished, and then I asked you if you want me to make the Piper top next, or if I should make like a sleeping mask, a scrunchie and some smaller things. So I'm gonna drink my coffee, eat breakfast, and then I'm gonna see what most of you voted for, and then I'm gonna do that. Right now it looks like more of you want to see what to do with leftover fabrics. So we'll see. Okay, I just had to, I freaked out for a second. Oh, it's so weird, like, this is my view. So there's not a lot of people walking past, but I'm just gonna wait for this woman to walk past because I don't want to film people. Maybe they don't want to be filmed. But, so, this is what it looks like. There's like a big storefront right in front of me. And it is so weird sometimes, like just now a girl walked past and she took a photo of me. I'm sure she meant it in a nice way, but it's still weird. But anyway, I'm gonna make a sleeping mask now because I asked you on Instagram and most of you voted for to film some tutorials for like little scrap pieces of scrap fabric. So I want to make a sleeping mask, and what I'm going to be using that's not part of my bed sheet is I'm going to be using this material that I also use in the sewing tutorial for the makeup bag, and it is like this soft padding. It's like a bit like it is thick and it's like fluffy, I guess. It is fluffy. I don't know how it's called. I think it's just called padding, wadding. I'm gonna put it right here, the proper name. So I'm gonna be making a little pattern. I'm just gonna draw something out of paper. I don't have my pattern paper here anymore, but this is what we use. I was hosting a sewing class the other day with Spotlight together. And so this is the pattern for a mini skirt. So if you want to, you can just take a screenshot and then you can fill out. So you need your hip measurement, and then you need to halve your hip measurement, and then here's like the calculations of how to do it. And then you can just follow my maxi skirt tutorial. But I'm just going to be using this paper now to draw my eye mask on here as a pattern. I think I'm going to fold it in half. And then I have no idea. I'm going to cut this out now, and then after I've cut it out, I'm going to hold it over my eyes. Maybe it's a bit too small actually. Okay, the moment of truth. I think it should be fine. I think I'm going to make it a bit bigger. I think I'm going to add 1 centimeter around it for the seam allowance. I think I'm going to make it a tiny bit bigger. And cool. Then I am going to cut it out twice. Then I'm going to cut out this once in the same size. And then I'm going to make 2 straps that go around the head, and I'm going to be using this elastic for it, I think, or should I use a skinnier elastic? I'm going to decide that in a second, but then I'm going to be cutting out 2 straps of fabric that I'm going to be making as a strap that need to be much longer than the elastic that I'm going to cut out, just so the fabric is going to be ruffled together, if that makes sense. I think it makes sense, and if my words don't make sense, it will make sense once I show you what we're doing. Okay, so I'm just going to trace this here again and just make it a little bit bigger. There we go. I'm just going to write sleeping mask on it. Cut times 2, cut times 1. Fluffy fabric. So first I'm going to cut out 1 time the fluffy bit here. Now I need to figure out how long my elastic needs to be, so I know how long I need to cut out my straps. So I'm just going to put it like this, and then I'm stretching it a bit. This is just a very rough calculation that I'm doing here. By the way, I'm doing this for the first time. So I'm just going to cut it off twice, because I want to make 2 elastics going around the back, just to make sure that the sleeping mask is really staying on when I'm sleeping. And I'm just going to measure it so you have some reference. Who knows? It's 27 centimeters long. So that means I'm going to cut my 2 straps maybe 50 centimeters long. Yeah. And my elastic is 1.7 centimeters wide, not 0.7 centimeters wide. So I'm going to cut them 50 centimeters long and 2.5 centimeters wide. Okay, I take that back. Don't make them 2.5 centimeters wide if your elastic is also 0.2. I would always recommend making your straps wider at the beginning, because you need to add in the seam allowance. So I cut mine now 50 centimeters and 5 centimeters wide, and then when I sew, I can sew them exactly how wide I want them to be. So now I have the 2 straps and 2 times the fabric, and then 1 time the fluffy part. And I think first I'm going to sew the straps and pull the elastic through, and then I'm going to sew all this together, because when I sew this together, I also need to sew in the straps that go around the back of my head. An easy way to always make sure that your strap that you're sewing is wide enough for your elastic is if you take your fabric, fold it in half, and then I'm just going to lay my elastic here where it needs to go, and then I can figure out where my needle needs to go in. And I can find one of the lines here on my sewing machine to orientate myself on. And then before I start sewing, I can just let the needle down here, and then I can lift the foot again, take the elastic out, and then I can start sewing. And next up, I'm taking my loop turner and I'm gonna flip the strap the other way around. And now that the elastic is in here, I'm gonna sew over here just to make sure it's not opening up again. And now I'm gonna continue pulling the elastic out. Now I can take the loop turner off, and now I'm gonna sew this closed here too. Here we have the first strap that's gonna go at the back of the sleeping mask. I think the first thing I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna sew one of the fabric pieces and the fluffy material together. I'm just gonna sew around the edge of it. I'm not 100% sure if I'm doing it the right way, but to me it makes most sense to sew them together and then treat them as one. And then I can put the two good sides facing each other, put the straps in here, and then I'm gonna sew them together, and I'm just gonna leave a little gap down here where I can then flip it the good side facing out. And then the last step would be to close the gap here. Or maybe I'm gonna leave the gap somewhere here. And now I will cut the excess white stuff off. Okay, and now I just need to decide where I want to put the straps. So I think I'm just going to make one of the straps, I'm just going to fold it in half, just so I get the straps on the same parts. And then I'm just going to make a cut here and then the other one a bit lower. And now we want the good side facing each other. So this is the good side. Then I need, wait, we're gonna start with this one. I'm gonna pin this on here. Okay, so now let me get my needles. So now what we want to do with this here is the good side, this is the bad side, and you want the good sides facing each other. So you want this side facing me, and then we take this one, it doesn't matter which is the good and the bad side, so we put them on top of each other. And then here where we made the notches, we're gonna put one of our elastics from here to over here, and then the other one just from here to over here. And I don't think I'm going to pin it because I just tried it already and it's so hard pinning those thin straps onto here with all the layers. I think I'm just going to sew slowly and put everything in place while sewing. It's just important that you leave a gap either down here or up here to then flip it the other way around. And now I'm going to stop here. And I'm just going to cut off some of that stuff here, so it's not too chunky inside. And I'm also cutting off the threads. This looks tiny. Okay. I'm gonna close this here first. So I'm just gonna fold the seam allowance inwards, like this, and then do a top stitch. Okay, so I just tried mine on, and my elastic is way too tight, and also my sleeping mask. When I put it on, it's fine, but I feel like I could make it a little bit bigger. Let me show you. So this is what it looks like. Yeah. Bummer. But I mean, it was so quick to make, and it also didn't waste a lot of fabric. And also one thing I'm going to do different now, I'm going to make this part here where the elastics are, I'm going to make this wider, just so they're not so tight together here. But yeah, I'm just going to make it in general a bit, just like maybe 1 centimeter bigger again, and then I'm going to make this part at the end, I'm going to go more like this. And I think I'm going to add 5 centimeters to the elastic. And now I'm gonna mark already where I want my straps to be. So here we have the straps this time for the elastic, and I'm gonna make them 53 centimeters long. And my elastic is 39 centimeters long. I'm just gonna make them the same length. Okay, so now I'm just going to do exactly the same that I did before. I'm not going to film it all again because the steps will be exactly the same, and I also need to charge my camera again. So I'll see you in a second once I'm finished, and I really hope that this time the sleeping mask is going to fit much better. Okay, I finished the sleeping mask and it fits so perfect now. The only difference that I did, so with this sleeping mask, like the first one that didn't turn out well, I just closed the gap here. Which looks not very nice. So with this one now, when I closed the gap, I was just continue sewing, like to do a stitch all the way around, just so it looks much nicer. And here is my sleeping mask. I feel like that is so cute. I've been wanting one for a long time. So this was easy to make. Even though the first one didn't work out well, it is still a super quick sewing project, especially if you have some leftover fabric. And I think this is also actually a super nice gift to give to people. I think I'm gonna make another one for my dad because they're visiting right now and they're flying back in a few days, back to Germany. And my dad was actually saying this morning that he wants to get a sleeping mask for the flight. So I'm just gonna make another one. So we are in my new studio now, as you can see. And I have decided to wrap this video up now. I filmed a tutorial also on how to make a laptop bag, but I've realized something. It doesn't make sense for me to film a tutorial when I'm doing it for the first time myself. Like, I want to make tutorials and create content to actually bring value to you, like to actually teach you something. But when I do something for the first time, I never get it right the first time. Like there's always going to be some mistakes, and if I make it for the first time, then I go back, fix it, like then it's so confusing for you to watch and to follow along. So I've decided just to end this video now here, and then I'm gonna take my time and figure out how to do like a makeup bag properly, make scrunchies, make a tote bag, and then have a few test runs, and then once I'm confident and I've perfected on how to do it, then I'm gonna make a new video and teach you, because otherwise I don't think you'll actually be able to learn anything from it when I make so many mistakes myself. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for watching this video. I had so much fun filming this. I feel like the fabric, like the bed sheets and the stripes on it, it went so well with the sewing patterns, and it was just so fun sewing all the pieces, and I love how they turned out. And there's so many more videos coming. I know it's summer, like summer's coming to Europe and also to the US, and I have so many dresses that I'm gonna release soon. So I hope I see you next week at my next tutorial. Goodbye!